We are diving deep, and I mean deep, into the real story behind the drama between Melody Rogers and Carlos King from Love and Marriage Huntsville. And baby, this situation is way bigger than an unfollow, bigger than shady Instagram lives, and definitely bigger than what the show is trying to make you believe. For months now, fans have been sensing something bubbling beneath the surface. Little signs, subtle reactions, a shift in tone. But now, the truth is boiling over, and it's time to talk about everything viewers weren't supposed to find out. So grab a snack, get comfortable, and make sure you're watching until the very end, because I'm breaking down the whole timeline, the behind-the-scenes mess, the insider reports, and why Melody has said she is never coming back to the show, no matter what production tries. Let's start with the moment the internet lost its mind. Melody and Carlos King unfollowing each other. Now, in normal life, an unfollow might not mean much, but honey, in reality TV, that is a full-on declaration of war. It's basically the equivalent of flipping a table on Instagram. And what made this moment so explosive is the fact that for years, Melody and Carlos were thick as thieves. They boosted each other's careers, collaborated closely, and built the emotional core of Love and Marriage Huntsville. So when fans woke up and saw the unfollow, they knew immediately something major had gone down behind the scenes. And here's the thing, the unfollow wasn't random. Insiders say it came after months of private tension, creative disagreements, and growing frustration from Melody over how she was being treated, both publicly and privately. She reportedly felt that Carlos, as an executive producer, stopped prioritizing authenticity and instead leaned heavily into drama, negativity, and manipulation of cast members' storylines. So when that unfollow happened, it was Melody making a public declaration that she was done. Not just done with the show, but done with Carlos, done with the toxic cycle, and done with the behind-the-scenes politics that were draining her mentally and emotionally. Let's get into Melody's mindset, because this is where everything truly begins to unravel. Melody has always been an entrepreneur with a strong voice and a clear vision. She built her brand on transparency, honesty, and speaking her truth, even when it wasn't easy. And for a long time, that worked beautifully with the show. She was the centerpiece, the fan favorite, the storyline anchor. But over time, Melody started noticing things that didn't sit right with her. According to insiders, she began feeling like her story was being twisted for entertainment, her image manipulated, and her emotional struggles used as plot devices. Behind the scenes, she reportedly started expressing concerns about how cast conflicts were being exploited and how little support she felt from leadership when things became overwhelming. There were disagreements about storylines, frustrations about how certain situations were edited, and tension over decisions that Melody believed were unfair or unprofessional. And this wasn't just a one-week issue. This was something that had been growing slowly, quietly, and steadily until it reached a point where Melody simply could no longer ignore the emotional toll it was taking. And here's the key point. Melody started choosing peace. Not fame, not storyline control, not popularity, peace. She said it repeatedly in private conversations and online. Her mental health is excellent right now. She feels at peace, and she will not go back to any environment that jeopardizes that. When a woman reaches that kind of clarity, especially after years of carrying a show on her back, her decision is rarely reversible. Now, let's talk about Shari, because this is where things get even messier. Shari went live on Instagram and basically said, "Let me tell y'all about this toxic leadership." She never said Carlos's name outright, but baby, she didn't have to. The fans knew exactly who she meant. During her live, she talked about disrespect, unprofessionalism, and the kind of leadership that doesn't appreciate or support the people working hard to make the show successful. She mentioned that cast members often felt undervalued, overlooked, and dismissed when they raised legitimate concerns. And here's the part that really hit home for a lot of fans. Shari said the toxicity was not just a surface-level issue, it was structural. It was embedded in the environment, in the way decisions were made, in the tone set from the top. And when she said all this, people immediately started connecting the dots. If Shari, who is usually pretty reserved, felt bold enough to speak publicly, how bad must it have been for Melody, who had already shown she doesn't tolerate disrespect or manipulation? Shari's honesty validated everything fans had been speculating, that the drama wasn't just on camera, it wasn't just storylines, it wasn't just entertainment, it was real. And the fallout was affecting real lives, real mental health, and real relationships. Here's where the plot really thickens. When Melody walked away, production panicked. They knew her departure wasn't just a cast shift, it was a huge blow to the entire structure of the show. Melody is one of the central reasons fans tune in. Her storylines, her journey, her personality, her presence, she carries a significant part of the show's appeal. So when she said she wasn't coming back, insiders say production scrambled to do damage control. They allegedly reached out multiple times, offering mediation sessions, promising creative adjustments, suggesting changes in leadership dynamics, and even offering more input and control over her storylines. They wanted Melody back desperately, because without her, the show loses a huge part of its narrative anchor. But Melody refused every single attempt, not because she was being difficult, but because she knew exactly what she was walking away from. She wasn't interested in temporary fixes or band-aid solutions. She knew her piece was more important than any storyline or camera time. Her decision wasn't emotional, it was intentional, thought out, final. One of the biggest issues behind the scenes was creative direction. Carlos has a reputation for loving high drama. And listen, as viewers, we all understand reality TV thrives on conflict, tension, and explosive moments. That's what keeps viewers hooked. But Melody wanted something different. She wanted her story to reflect her real life, her growth, her evolution. She wanted empowerment, positivity, and authenticity. She didn't want drama created or exaggerated for the sake of ratings. According to insiders, Melody felt that Carlos often leaned into chaos, even when it was harmful. She reportedly felt that certain storylines were being pushed that didn't align with her values, her reality, or her vision of what she wanted her brand to represent. And when you combine that with the behind-the-scenes tension and the emotional toll of constant drama, you can see why she reached a breaking point. Creative differences can be managed when both sides respect each other, but when one side feels unheard, dismissed, or manipulated, that's when things collapse. Make no mistake, Melody leaving the show has changed everything. The remaining cast members, including Shari, have had to navigate the uncertainty, the tension, and the shifting dynamics. Some cast members have publicly supported Melody, praising her for choosing peace and setting boundaries. Others have stayed quiet, likely because they fear backlash or don't want to jeopardize their position with production. But the ripple effect is undeniable. Storylines will have to be restructured, new drama will have to be created, and the show will have to find a way to hold the audience without one of its most iconic figures. And let's be real, fans are already questioning whether the show can survive long-term without Melody. Meanwhile, Carlos is dealing with public criticism, questions about leadership, and pressure to maintain the show's momentum. And because Shari spoke out so boldly, fans are starting to question whether the issue is bigger than just Melody, whether the entire structure of the show needs to change. Here is the most beautiful part of this story. Melody is thriving. She has said repeatedly that her mental health is strong, her peace is intact, and she feels more centered than she has in a long time. She's focusing on her business ventures, her personal growth, and her family. She's building her brand outside of the drama and toxicity, and she has said loud and clear that she has no plans to return. Her decision is powerful because it shows that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away, even when the situation looks glamorous on the outside. Melody chose herself, and fans have shown overwhelming support because they see the strength in that decision.
So now the big questions remain. Will the show survive without Melody? Can Carlos recover from the backlash? Will more cast members speak out about their experiences? Is change coming behind the scenes? And the biggest one, is Melody really done for good? Let me know what you think in the comments, because this story is far from over. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because in the next video, we're going even deeper into the insider tea, the cast reactions, the production fallout, and the future of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.